Everyone, I'm here at Narromine Airport with Attila Beratok, who's been flying here for the last couple of weeks, as I have, and behind me is his ASW20. So tell us a little bit about your flying that you've been doing here, Attila.
Oh, well, it's in a way it's above expectation because it's February, so I thought probably I don't expect the top conditions, but I still got flights between pretty much 550 to 744 kilometers, I believe, and every day I'm up there for 6 hours to 7 hours 30 minutes, I think the longest, and I explored a fair bit of country. A few outlandings too. It wasn't expected, but yeah, these things happen. But it's very, very enjoyable and above expectation, as I said.
Yes, you certainly have been doing some interesting flying, because here at Narromine we're out in the wheat belt, and we have the hills to the east. But Attila, you've been doing some flying well over into the ranges. You went to Rylstone the other day, in fact.
Yeah, that's right. That's our old sandbox, the old playground from my hang gliding test pilot years. Yeah, it was nice to see. It's nice to go to the Blue Mountains from Narromine. Nice to say, like, I've been to the Blue Mountains. It's not that far. In fact, it's probably 200 kilometers to the Vuolenmäe National Park, roughly the edge of it. Yeah, it was the most spectacular flying. All that hilly area around Mudgee, and then the big reservoirs around Wellington. They are all beautiful. Then had a nice flight, a good run down to Canowindra, Cloud Streets. Yeah, so it was a really nice flying. I would say that's the nicest of them all.
And so your type of flying, some people are very kind of, they figure out what they're going to do the day before and declare what they're going to do. But I get the impression that you're a bit more of a follow the weather type of pilot. So on that day that you went to Rylstone, is that just where you saw where the best clouds were, the best weather was? Yeah,
partly the weather forecast was mentioning that, and also we had a slight easterly wind, so I had that in mind, that possibly if things go a bit worse than I expect and gets a bit late, then possibly it will be easier to come back. Yeah. I didn't really need much of that. I mean, I landed out, but for different reasons, so I just pushed a bit too far to the south, so that happened. But other than that, I don't pay. I pay attention, of course, on the weather forecast, mostly cloud development, what I'm interested in, and wind direction a little bit. Other than that, it's, that type of flying. What I do here is it's not competition flying, and I don't mind to fly preset tasks like big FAI triangles and stuff, but this time of the year is really not much. I don't see much point of doing it, so I just go where it's best.
Right, but you like the long flying. You like starting early and finishing with the last thermal.
Yeah, it doesn't do wonders to your average speed, but at least you explore part of the days which many pilots never or very rarely explore, like how you actually stay up at the beginning of the day. It could be useful for a competition when they kind of miscalculate the start time, and you have to actually hang around in poor conditions relatively with a heavy glider if you fly with a lot of water. So it's educational, but also I just like to see the whole day as it develops. From the first wisps to having an argument that you nearly come back after sunset. So it's, the end part always seems easier, because it seems like the thermal just keep going up. So very often, probably 50% of the time, you can stay up after sunset on a good day.
Yeah, you just have to judge the final glide of making sure you can get home off that.
Like I try to do that. That's kind of the ultimate thing, that you really want to come home with the last thermal without doing too much of the. I would say, like, it's quite easy to stay up and hang around and do kilometers if you just keep flying around and you do like little 50-kilometer bursts at the end of the day. It's more challenging when you go, say, 300 kilometers away, and then you try to time it that you're home. Yeah. You might extend a little bit, but it's really the perfect timing when you climbed out with the last lift, and then you come home and then people look like, how did you stay up? Well, I didn't stay up here. I stayed up, 60, 80 kilometers away. So.
Right, yeah. And that day we were talking about at Rylstone, again, you landed at Peak Hill, which is about 60k south of here, but that's because the last thermal didn't quite get you all the way home, basically.
That was an interesting situation. That the choice is, cause a bit of inconvenience by somebody to get me on a car. So that's a bit of a hassle. We prefer air towing, but at least I needed to announce what I'm going to do 1 hour before sunset. So I had a light lift. In hindsight, I don't believe that I would have made it. I would possibly ended up in a paddock between Tomingley and Narromine. But I basically just talked to the tug pilot from the air, and he came. So that was the better solution. Cost a bit more money, but it's a lot less hassle, and you get a lot less tired. So
Still. And your best flight though here, your longest flight, I think was 750 kilometers. Was that about right?
yeah, on this occasion, yes, 744.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Very good. And Attila is actually, as you probably know, a world champion hang glider pilot. And so tell us about, when did you actually start gliding in pure gliders as opposed to hang gliders?
96, I think. I started in Hungary. There was like an aero towing course, and I found some people who didn't have the old socialist system mindset, so we could actually do an aero tow based course, which was like a novelty back then. So I done my flights and done 3 hour, 5 hour. Then I came to Australia, and shortly after I did a quick one with Shinzo So Narromine. That's where I met young Sean Young.
Yes, Shinzo Takizawa, we're right across from Soren Narromine at the moment.
Yeah, and so that was the story, and after that I think not immediately after I did some flights, renting some gliders, I become a Keep It member, and bought a legendary Zulu Romeo. I've done some big flights on that, and
Which a Cirrus?
yeah, the standard Cirrus, and then 2 years ago we bought this beautiful ASW20, which is in pieces at the moment, with my friend Thomas Suhanek, who's no need introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the short flying career. I don't fly all that much, but I just do it in very concentrated packs. Like probably I don't have more than probably 600, 700 hours. But
Right. And how many hours have you got in hang gliders?
look, I don't really do precise logging on a hang glider, but give or take probably, I would say 4,500 to 5,000.
Right.
4,500 to 5,000 hours. So.
And you're still flying, Attila was flying the competition out of Forbes just in January.
Yeah, that worked out good. I ended up winning the competition, so yeah, caused some heartache for the younger people.
Right, so you won the competition again, so you're still a champion.
Yes, I'm still. So.
All right, very good. Thanks very much for talking to us today, Attila.
Thank you.